Alright, welcome back to another multiplayer cast. We are playing as the Vampire Coast again, and we are matched up against the Skaven. And we're on Death Pass. So, let's take a quick look and see what kind of firepower he's got. I've got a pretty wide build here. Actually, wider than my opponent, who is a Skaven, in case I did not mention that. We might be getting some lag here. Let's see how this goes. So, right away, I'm seeing warp fire throwers. Warp fire throwers. Looks like they like that. Skaven slaves. What else? Clan rats. Okay, so we both have a lot of. We both have very similar builds in that sense. Let's see. Okay. So we got. Oopsies. Got to put these guys in group formation, not that it matters in a small group like that. So I gotta protect my mortars. I really was trying to make sure I did not have severely unprotected shooting, as I have a tendency to do. And my opponent is sitting back. I wonder what he's thinking of doing. Maybe he wants to get to a critical mass and then attack the middle. He's got some infantry on the way over here, so I do want to have some kind of response. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do something I normally would not do, and I'm going to try out a little new tactic. And I'm going to fly some bats over this way and kind of use them as scouts. Probably something that could be useful. Let's see, he looks like he's coming in to get some kind of cast off. So let's. He's kind of shooting though. He doesn't have lightly armored. He's got a shield.
We have a victory
point. So gotta move forward. Get some shooting on this lord. Okay, so we've got Skaven slaves over here. Oh shit, I did not see this coming. Holy hell. Okay, what do I do here? Guess I reallocate some troops over this way. Hold this point. Let's get our lord coming this way. Okay, this will be interesting. Alright, he's going with some trickery. And that is something I gotta learn to work against. So we're getting smashed over here. Let's get some guns on the way. Let's see. He doesn't have much I don't think he has any anti-air over on this side. This guy is Snikch is lightly armored, so let's bring an air force over this way. And actually, does he have any magic damage? He doesn't have any magic damage over here either. So let's bring sirens. And let's keep these guys back. And these guys over here as well. Keep advancing. Trying to cut these guys off. Right, everybody get moving over here from this squad. Okay. Taking the warp fire throwers, and now there's going to be a balancing act of figuring out how I want to. Oops, it's not heavily armored. Alright, let's switch these guys on to death runners. Get some spears on these guys. Sirens coming this way. We'll get one squad on these guys, one squad on these guys. Let's trap these guys. buff going. Okay, so he's got some magic coming down. I'm just gonna hold my ground here. Mortar's still shooting. I need to get more presence in the middle. These guys need to advance. Especially warp fire throwers. Shoot them, shoot them. What's going on over here? How are we doing? So
You have the foe's victory point.
let's get a summon on top of that. Let's get Aranessa coming over this way. These guys are getting taken out. I feel okay right now. I feel like we're not in like a great position, but could be a lot worse. Especially since I got caught off guard, like I did. What else do I need? Let's get Carronade on here, and we'll try to shoot down these warp fire throwers. Okay, you pop that because he's probably gonna jump my lord with Snikch. Try to debuff the assassin. Get our power flowing. Also, let's do this on Snikch. Bring down his abilities. Whoops. Just realized it didn't pop on her. Okay, these guys are gonna come over this way. Mortar is still firing. Let's try to find some kind of other target. Let's shoot down these warp fire throwers. These guys shooting down. These guys charging in. Okay, so let's get bats, scurvy dogs for some backline pressure. And some more handguns. I feel like we're stabilizing here. Snikch is just going to disappear and jump my mortars, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so now we're going to get these guys set up here. We're going to run this way. If he wants to jump on top of my mortars, I'm fine with that. The assassin is going to deal with the fleet captain sirens. Okay, so we've got shooting and protection for that. And now it's all about controlling his points in the middle. Now he does not have many big things, so what I'm going to do is just try to flood this place with deckhand mobs. Keep these guys running. Trying to jump on top of these warp grinders. These guys are way off in the backfield. Luckily, it seems like my opponent is a little bit less experienced. He's having trouble with micro, as I am as well. Definitely not claiming to be the expert here, but I can see that he's losing track of some stuff and whatnot, and that's going to make it a lot easier for me controlling this middle point. So I got to keep moving though, and keep picking my targets. So these guys need to come back. But the mortar's firing on these guys.
One of your units
Got
has
a
been
lot of
destroyed.
troops not doing much, so these guys are going to be control 5. I'm going to keep them together so I remember. I fucked up and I had Aranessa fighting this guy without enough health, or not enough help. And so she is fleeing off the field. Luckily, she's probably going to come back, and Snikch probably won't. So what I'm going to do is get scurvy dogs on top of him to make sure that he's off for sure, and keep reinforcing in here. So see, we don't want to stack too many guys on top of each other. They got the capture weight now. Who's our best targets over here? You guys might as well dive. Shoot down the warlock engineer. Okay, so now she's gonna come back this way, and I gotta play careful with her. So I'm gonna sit her in the backfield and just have her there for some morale presence. Luckily, with their lord off the field, Skaven leadership is so bad, it's going to be hard for them to hold presence in the middle. And I'm just going to keep flooding this. In fact, they have Clanrats with spears, so those are anti-large. So let's see if we can do some sneaky stuff over here. Mortars are both off the field. Okay, we'll shoot the Doom Flares. Okay, now I gotta get my wits about me and be smart on how I'm doing this. So get units on the point and form up. I shoot down these Doom Flares, these guys charging in. Okay, so I'm not gonna run in here yet. Let's back up here. I want to make sure those guys have some reinforcements in the form of Fellbats. So what we'll do is we're gonna rear charge from here, front charge with the dogs. Sirens are gonna come this way. All right, now we're just gonna set up a defensive position. Got most of these guys off the field. Let's do some more chasing with Scurvy Dogs. And if I can get some more bats, I'll use them as well. Death Runners are definitely something I want to prioritize. Keep Aranessa away from that. She actually is not going to trade too well against them, I would imagine. Okay, he gave up. And I will say, I appreciated this guy. He got his army set up before me and he unreadied, so that's something I always appreciate. Thanks to him for that. And well played. It was an interesting match. He definitely threw me off guard with the Deathmaster, Snikch, and the whole squad coming around the side. I went over to look and see if there was, because I think I had some bats flying over to do some scouting, and all of a sudden his guys were all over my point and catching everything I had on that side. So that was a cool play. Luckily, I was able to shift some troops over and deal with that. Let's take a look at values. So Aranessa performed pretty badly. I didn't put her in good engagements. In hindsight, I think it would have made sense for me to just keep her away from any single entities that I saw and have her only go after Doom Flayers and things like that. Vampire Fleet Captain did okay. Got a lot of interesting abilities off on their Assassin and Deathmaster Snikch, so that helped. I didn't get too much magic cast. I really lost track of this Fleet Captain throughout the match. The mortars didn't do great. I didn't do the best job of controlling them. I was so caught up keeping all my troops moving and whatnot. Man, playing wide builds is honestly pretty difficult for me. I struggle keeping everyone moving while also attending to shooting type units and casting and things of that nature. So especially playing as the Vampire Coast is something I'll have to get used to. So I'm seeing that none of my units really performed exceptionally well. I definitely was winning the value trading, but I didn't feel like anyone did a ton of work. I do think that having the deck droppers on the right hand side was a huge thing, because there was Death Runners, there was the Assassin, there was the Doom Flayers and whatnot, but nothing was going to deal with these deck droppers. And because a lot of I think the Death Runners were probably their highest value units outside of the Lord and the Assassin, were lightly armored. The deck droppers kind of had free roam to support anything that was on land, and he didn't have shooting that came out of the woods to back them up on that right side. So these guys, although they didn't accrue a ton of value, definitely paid dividends for me in getting control back on the right. And then really it was just mobbing up and keeping some gunpowder firing and some guys slowing down his push in the middle. For my opponent, Deathmaster Snikch, pretty good value. I'd say a lot of that was from dealing with Aranessa. The Assassin, or this is the Warlock Engineer, excuse me. Not too much value. The Assassin got picked off pretty quickly. Warp Grinders and the Warp Fire Throwers didn't do too much. Nothing crazy on any of these troops. Let's see, Doom Flayers got shut down pretty quickly. Death Runners did okay. At least the one squad did. So yeah, interesting match. I guess maybe when you're playing wide, you really don't see too much high performing units, because there was no one had a high value target to really accrue value on. I think the biggest standout on this match was Deathmaster Snikch getting 1900 value. I really didn't have too much that performed crazily. But again, a lot of low value units, and that's kind of what I would expect from Vampire Coast and from Skaven. And yeah, that was a fun match. A lot of stuff going on. Pretty hard for me to keep up with everything, but again, it was fun. Well played to my opponent. Thanks again for him not rushing me on the beginning. That's it's not super often that people are patient and give you some time to get your build ready. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.